What's up? I'm Grizz, and welcome back for episode 21 of Spy Family. Last week, Anya had to write a paper and followed Lloyd around basically to find out about his job, what he does at work, and ended kind of in a disaster by her taking very bad notes and finding secret passageways and stuff. And then in the second half of the episode, basically she set up my boy Frankie to get caught by Chris Hansen, but then she overslept, so he was okay. As much as I love this show, I am getting a little worried, especially with this second core. I feel like there really hasn't been any progression or any strides really made that we can visibly see in any of the characters or anything involving it. We got Bond at the beginning, and that was like a big moment because it was supposed to be something for the family. And then he's been irrelevant the entire season so far, or at least the second core. There's also been no progress really between Lloyd and Yor. Anya hasn't gotten another Stella and isn't getting any closer really to Damien, I feel. It's just, it leaves me wondering, are we just doing like fun, cute skits that are enjoyable, or are we gonna put some progression going here? Are we gonna start being focused a bit more? I don't know. Not to sound too negative, but I'm a little worried that there's no real direction here. With all that said, I am optimistic about this episode. Last week we met a new girl who works with Lloyd. I'm still unsure if she's a spy or just kind of works with him as like a planner or someone that helps him out. I'm gonna guess probably a spy, but I'm hoping we see more of her here in this episode, and that allows for some progression and new aspects like of the story to, you know, allow other things to unfold. So hopefully that's what happens, but we'll end up seeing. Let's just get right to the episode. There we go. That's it. That's exactly what I wanted. That's finally feels like progression, something in the right direction. It wasn't even that much. It really wasn't. All we basically find out is Fiona, who is a spy and works also with Lloyd, was trained underneath him when she was first coming up, and due to that, she basically grew a lot of affection towards him and genuinely likes him, it appears. She comes off very cold and hard during her interactions with Yor in order to try and get her to get out the picture, but also I guess just in her interactions and the way that she speaks with Lloyd. But that's just who she is. She was brought up that way. That's who she's been, and that's just like everyone else. That's her way of expressing herself, really. She's completely just in her reasons for thinking that she's more capable, basically everything in her view, or everything that's important in her view. And she basically would be a better fit for Lloyd. But that's the thing about people, and Lloyd is no exception to that. Despite being a fake like group and family that he's forming here, he's still no exception because he's still a person, and people aren't predictable or even rational in the ways that they think, in the ways that they feel about other people. Sometimes you just get a vibe, or you just have a feeling inside you, or you just want something that's not something that you're used to, or sometimes you just can't explain feelings and you can't explain the reasons why you want certain things or the way you act. And despite acting as this is a fake family, there might be a hint of truth underneath all of what Lloyd is getting at here, in the way that he feels and how he views and values Yor. Something that I've talked about within past episodes before was how Yor is constantly down about being a bad wife and doing things wrong, and the fact that Lloyd might leave her or view her as unfit, or even that she just views herself as unfit and incapable of doing certain things that any normal person probably should be able to. Immediately, the first thing that we see throughout this episode, or first time that we see Yor at least, is her discussing about the breakfast or whatever it was that she made, and how Anya hated it, and how Lloyd ended up having to make something else for their lunch. She was already having doubts and already upset about this, and then Fiona comes in, and Fiona basically turns it up another level in her own way to try and get Yor out the picture. And then they cut it off at a line where Fiona basically was alluding to the fact that Lloyd was talking about Yor, was saying something in a negative light about her at work, and that could be the reason for why he's always so tired and has so much, and also has so much going on, is because of her incompetence. And it's one of those things that got cut off, and it's like where in some animes, you know, you're never able to really tell like if the character was able to hear what they needed to, but she basically heard it all, and she heard what she needed to, and she starts then again having doubts. Now she's thinking, oh, he's talking about me outside of work, but not in a positive light, about the failures that I have and about the things that are wrong with me and how somebody else could be more suitable. And that basically bothers her. Anya, it was the same exact thing with her. She started getting bothered by the way that the things that Fiona was thinking or saying in her head about how she was more suitable than Yor, or how she would be able to get Anya into shape and be able to get a lot of Stellas out of them and complete this mission and be successful. And she hated that idea too. So Anya starts breaking down and acting weird, like when Yor and Lloyd first met, and how she made it very known how she wishes she had a mother and things like that. And then Yor also breaks down, and Yor gets really upset and promises Lloyd that she'll try harder and she'll be better. And whether it's for the mission or it's actually what he thinks, he basically tells her, no, you're doing fine right now, you know? It's one of those things she just needs to slowly take her time. She's doing what she needs to. She can slowly learn how to, like she did before, and she was learn how to cook something and slowly pick up more things. And I don't know, it might just be a plot thing, but it's one of those, like, if this was real, she easily could just ask Lloyd for help on cooking and learning how to do stuff like that. That's not really, if he's always around and having to do the cooking anyways. Like, ultimately though, all this really stems from the fact that Fiona is working on a new mission in the future with Lloyd. And currently, she wasn't present at the time that Operation Strix began, and which is why they couldn't just use her as the fake mother. And now she's trying to insert herself in that picture. But she views this as just an operation, in the fact that she can get this done, or they don't need all these extra things like Anya goofing around, or them having a dog and them taking him for walks and all this stuff in order to even get these Stellas and really progress this mission. Whereas Lloyd, on the other hand, is more focused on the fact that Anya's the main focus in this mission, because her actions and decisions and things, that basically everything that comes as a result of what she produces is how this mission is going to go. So he views it as all these things that she views as not necessary as necessary, and that they need the dog, or they need all these like family bonding times and all these things to basically keep a smile on her face, keep her happy and healthy and excited to go to school and looking forward to do these certain things, because she, at the end of the day, is what's going to ultimately allow this plan to succeed. As we said early into episode 1, the future is in her hands, like, or what I believe was the first episode at least. But really just gave me everything that I wanted. It wasn't that big of a push, but it was a slight push, basically reassurance of Anya learning about something else, introducing a new character into the fold, which we're going to have a new mission with her in the fold, so she's going to be seen a lot more. She's going to create some conflict, probably because just based off the fact that she likes Lloyd, with now, and maybe force him to play his hand in a way and basically stick with her or switch over. And if he doesn't switch, she's going to have to start showing some progress maybe. But it's the smallest push in the right direction. It's also, it could be something that it gets into Anya's head, where now she knows this girl is here because the mission's not going well and the mission's on her, and now she needs to do better or succeed more in order to not have to take a chance or have to worry about losing or having this lady take over as her new mom or something like that. On the back end of the episode, after the extremely early ending scene, we basically finally get a little bit of bond time. He basically gets jealous over the fact that Anya has this big penguin stuffed animal and completely mauls the thing. It's very short, simple, sweet. It was very cute, just something to fit in, and I absolutely loved it. She was mad at Bond for doing it, but it wasn't necessarily that he ruined something of hers. It was the fact that it was a gift that she got from Lloyd, and that means a lot to her, and it's something that she holds deep and close to her, which is just really cute and sweet and makes for a great moment when, you know, him or basically hear that this is like something that they did has like this strong of an effect or impact on like the way that she feels and things. Bond feels bad about it, gives the peanuts to Anya as a token of apology, shakes hands with paws with the penguin, paws and flippers, and all three of them agree to coexist. Hopefully next week Fiona continues to give us a little bit of a push and allow Lloyd to do some things in the right direction, get some progress on the mission. I still want Bond to be involved somehow a bit more, and I also still just want a lot more of Yor and Lloyd moments. We're still not getting enough. I think this was a standout episode from this core, as I feel the first core had a lot of moments that I can replay and stand out in my mind, and this one they don't really have as much, and I think this is one of those that does have more of a standout moment. I think Fiona's completely fine with the way that she acts and the things she does. The only time that this would really cause an issue is if she truly comes between them and does something that's kind of just very unnecessary for the story, because it's like very obvious that he's not going to like pay, or Lloyd's not going to pay her any attention, and it's like York is the direction that, you know, he would always lean. But if something ever happens where like they get between it, I think that's when it'll get ruined. I think that her character stick does doesn't really ruin anything unless she gets really like too assertive or too like pushy in a way. But yeah, good. Let me know what you thought down below. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want. I don't care. Twitter and my anime list links are in description. Follow and add me on there. Episode 22 next week. Peace.